Raya and the Last Dragon. Yeah, I broke down and paid $30 for this. Um, Here's what I'll tell you. Um, the $30 price point is up to you. If you think it's worth it, then do it. If you have a whole family, do it definitely because kids and adults will definitely get something out of this. I think this is a solid 7 out of 10 movie. It's a B, like a B minus. It is probably my second favorite Disney animated movie to come out recently. I think right above it is Zootopia, but it's not as good as that. I don't think Disney will ever make another animated movie as good as that. But this movie was pretty good. I really enjoyed the score for this movie in the world. I'm not gonna describe much of the movie because I don't think a lot of this movie. I don't think this movie is doing very well because of the Premier Access $30 bull crap. Because some theaters are refusing to show it because of the Premier Access garbage. So I think this movie isn't performing very well. So I don't think I so there's not a lot of people who are watching this movie. So I don't want to like describe things, give plots, details, anything like that. So I'm not even gonna give you like a summary of the plot, like just so you kind of know what the movie's about. Because I just think this movie just there isn't enough out there about this movie. It comes out on June 6th on Disney Plus for free to all Disney subscribers. So if you do not want to pay that $30 fee, there you go. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The animation to this film is gorgeous. I think with every Disney animated movie and Pixar movie, we just need to say that first and then just move on to the other stuff. Because that's all people focus on with these movies now. And it's kind of like, okay, but what about the substance? What about, the story and the stuff that actually matters more than the quality of the animation? Because this is just standard for them. If it'd be different if it didn't look this good. But this was a beautiful looking movie. Nevertheless, the landscapes and the different environments they go to were great. Um, I think the issue with this movie is it's a MacGuffin Quest movie. And if you don't know what a MacGuffin Quest movie is, so it's like in the Avengers, right? Thanos wants stones. All the characters want to go get the stones, and that's the whole movie. It's watching characters go from place to place trying to get this thing so they can save the world. That's the typical plot. It's a very generic tropey plot. I'm not saying a MacGuffin quest can't work. It's worked thousands of other times. I think they just follow it verbatim to the point where it's just not interesting. They don't really do much to change up that kind of formula. And also, it's very Rogue One ish, where it feels like it's just jumping around all the time, which Rogue One does. But you're jumping around with a bunch of characters you don't really know much about. This is a little bit better than that because I got a sense for these characters' personalities, and I'm like, I like this one, I like that one, I like this character, and I enjoyed certain characters in the movie. I do wish I would gotten more out of them, but I still get a good idea of these characters. Rogue One, I didn't really do that, so I don't think it was as bad as Rogue One. I'm just saying it's similar to that in some areas. The score to this movie is really great. It's very well composed. Um, it really fits the movie very well. I also really like the message of this movie. You have a whole world of a kind of dystopian future of characters who all split apart across different lands, and they've suffered because they refuse to trust each other. And that's kind of the whole premise of the movie. And it's about watching our characters learn that it's okay to trust people. It's okay to uh, do that and not shut yourself off from everybody, because it's just better to, trust people and do things. I'm not saying you should trust everyone. You should definitely be careful who you trust, but you should always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I think in the society we live in nowadays, I think it's a great message. I think it's just a great film message, and I think it's what made this movie work really well. I think if the story had been better and it wouldn't have been so predictable, there's some things that happen at the end of this movie that I predicted would happen from the very beginning of the movie, and it wasn't horrible. Like I did, I didn't hate watching it, but it was like when that thing happened, I was like, oh, well, I guess that. When certain characters do certain things, I'm like, I guess this, I guess that. I guessed a lot of the movie, and while I still enjoyed myself and had a good time with this movie, I think it did make the viewing experience a little frustrating because it's like, well, I wanted more of a less predictable story. But overall, it was a solid 7 out of 10 movie. One of the best Disney movies they made in the last decade. Wreck It Ralph and Zootopia. You know what? I'll take it back. This is my third one. It's Wreck It Ralph is above this, and then Zootopia. Those three are my favorite. Tangled is right below this one, and then the rest of the Disney animated movies I don't think are that great. Um, Big Hero 6 is fine, but like that's it. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty solid movie. Again, if the $30 is worth it to you, go ahead. If you have a whole family of people, it's probably cheaper to do this. So I don't know. But again, it's up to you if it's worth it. Personally, I didn't think it was worth it, but my dad was like, "Hey, we should watch it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it with you then," because I did want to watch it. And yeah, it was a solid 7 out of 10 movie. Very solid. Very close to an 8, but I just don't think it was there.